In the late 18th century, as America struggled with its identity and ideals of liberty, a brave woman took a decisive stand that would change the course of history. Her name was Elizabeth Freeman, but she was known to many as Mum Bett. Her story was one of courage, resilience, and a relentless quest for freedom. Born around 1744 in the Hudson River Valley of New York, Elizabeth Freeman began her life in bondage. She was held as a slave by the Ashley family in Sheffield, Massachusetts. From an early age, Elizabeth, known as Bett, worked tirelessly, enduring the hardships of slavery. Her life, like that of many enslaved people, was marked by forced labor and harsh conditions. Bett's experiences shaped her views and laid the groundwork for what was to come. But it wasn't until a specific incident in the Ashley household that her determination for freedom was fully awakened. One day, as Mrs. Hannah Ashley lashed out in anger at another enslaved person, Bett stepped in. In the process, she was struck by Mrs. Ashley, leaving her injured. Bett's refusal to endure violence in silence became a defining moment. With a deep understanding that something greater was at stake, she began seeking a way out of the bonds of slavery. During this period, revolutionary ideas were spreading throughout Massachusetts. People spoke passionately about liberty and natural rights. In 1780, the state's new constitution declared that all men are born free and equal. Bett heard these words and something clicked. All men are born free and equal. These powerful words resonated deeply with Bett, and she saw in them the justification to challenge her bondage. But the question remained, how could a black enslaved woman claim freedom in a world designed to keep her in chains? Bett courageously sought help from an influential lawyer named Theodore Sedgwick. Sedgwick, a prominent attorney and a staunch advocate for the revolutionary ideals of liberty and justice, was inspired by her resolve. Together, they planned a legal challenge that would test the new Massachusetts Constitution. It was a bold and unprecedented move. Sedgwick, alongside another attorney, Tapping Reeve, filed a case on behalf of Bett, arguing that slavery was incompatible with the new state constitution. In 1781, Elizabeth Freeman's case was heard in the County Court of Common Pleas in Great Barrington. It was known as Brom and Bett v. Ashley, named after Bett and another enslaved man, Brom. The case was revolutionary, pitting a former slave owner, Colonel John Ashley, against the radical assertion that his ownership violated fundamental rights. During the trial, Sedgwick argued that the Massachusetts Constitution's Declaration of Equality applied to all, regardless of race. The jury, inspired by the ideals of liberty and freedom, sided with Bett. On August 21, 1781, the court ruled in her favor, declaring her a free woman. Elizabeth Freeman's victory was groundbreaking. It marked the first time that the state constitution had been successfully used to challenge and dismantle slavery. Bett not only won her freedom, but she also set a precedent that would contribute to the gradual abolition of slavery in Massachusetts. After the trial, Elizabeth took the name Freeman to signify her new status. She chose to work for the Sedgwick family, where she was treated with respect and earned a wage for her work. Freeman became a trusted member of the household, and the Sedgwick children would later remember her as a woman of wisdom and strength. Elizabeth Freeman's courage to challenge the very foundation of slavery made her an icon of resilience and justice. Although she never learned to read or write, her profound understanding of freedom and rights was unshakable. Elizabeth Freeman lived out the rest of her days in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, purchasing a home and living with her children and grandchildren. When she passed away in 1829 at approximately 85 years old, her gravestone bore a powerful inscription. She was born a slave and remained a slave for nearly 30 years. She could neither read nor write, yet in her own sphere she had no superior or equal. Elizabeth Freeman's bravery and commitment to freedom continue to resonate through history. Her case helped pave the way for the abolition of slavery in Massachusetts, and her story remains an enduring reminder of the power of one person's courage to create change. In a time when the concept of freedom was being redefined, Elizabeth Freeman dared to stand up and claim her rights. Her legacy teaches us that freedom is not merely given, it must be asserted and defended, sometimes against great odds. The ideals she embraced in the 18th century continue to inspire the pursuit of liberty and equality in the present day. Elizabeth Freeman, known as Mum Bett, was more than just a name in history. She was a pioneer in the fight for freedom and equality. Her story reminds us that the desire for liberty transcends all barriers, and the fight for justice is a timeless endeavor. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with more inspiring stories from history.